Hello and welcome to Dulce Aroma. Today we're going to be making this really cute sailor soap that my mum actually was inspired by when she saw this little boat. So this little boat has been in our family for a wee while. My stepdad absolutely loves it and my mum wanted to make this soap as a little gift to him. So a really cool little feature about this soap is the cord that is inside it. So we've put a cotton cord, but you can also use twine inside it, and that is really good to have in the shower, especially if you've got little children. You can hang up your soap and then it'll be out of their reach. Cool. So the ingredients are 360 grams of white melt and pour base, 10 grams of blue powdered colorant, 5 grams of gold mica powder or colorant, 10 grams of natural fragrance of your choice, rubbing alcohol, twine, and a natural preservative. We use GeoGuard. So as you can see, the soap looks really cute. It's a really nice one to have, in the bathroom as a decorative soap, but again, it can be used as soap as well. We use a really good quality melt and pour base, which we really love to use, and we also really like selling and also giving to our friends. So I think this is a really nice gift to give to, men or women. Anyone would probably like this soap. And one thing that I find really cute is the little finishing on the boat, on the top one. It looks a little bit like sand. Cool, so to begin with, we're going to be cutting up the melt and pour base. Like I say, we are only using white today. And we're melting each layer individually. So this is about 75 grams of melt and pour base. And we'll pop it into the microwave for about 10-second bursts at a time just to see how long it needs to be heated. Don't overheat your melt and pour base. Don't let it get to a boil because that will make your melt and pour base sweat later on. Cool, so as you can see, we are adding a little drop of GeoGuard, our preservative, to each of the little mixtures that we're making. So in the video, I'll be making 2 soaps at the same time. Now we're adding the fragrance, and the colorant is already added as well. Because the base is already white, you don't need to add any white colorant to that. But if you have clear base and you want it to be white, you can absolutely add a white colorant, but luckily we already had white base. Cool. So the molds that we're using, we found in what we call a $2 shop here in New Zealand, but I think they're called like dollar stores in other countries. It's like a Korean shop that my mum really loves going to with me, and we find little knickknacks and things like this. So these little baskets we found to be really, really good molds, and they're like in a soft plastic, so they're easily to demold. Here's a close-up of what the colorant that we use looks like on the little boat. So as you can see, it's a metallic gold, and it's a little bit glittery, which I think looks really gorgeous with this white melt and pour base. So here's a close-up to what the mica powder looks like. So we use mica, but of course there are different options for powdered colorants. Cool, so here we're mixing up the 60 grams, it's approximately 60 grams of white melt and pour base with the gold mica powder. This is the second boat that I pointed out before that looks a bit like sand. So for that finish, you basically don't want to mix the colorant in too well, and you want little spots in there. That will give it a more rustic, more sandy look. But if you don't want it to look sandy, make sure that you dissolve your powder in rubbing alcohol first. If you don't know how to do that, refer to some of our older melt and pour videos where you can see how we do that. Awesome. So now we are moving on to the next set of layers of the blue and white stripes. So set the boat aside and now melt your white and blue melt and pour base. Again, we've added a little drop of GeoGuard to each of them. We've added a little bit of fragrance, and to the blue we've added the colorant. GeoGuard should only be used in very, very small quantities. So when you buy a little bottle of it, you'll have it for a long time. And if you're not sure what GeoGuard is, 1% of your whole mix should be a natural preservative, and GeoGuard is the one that we chose. So as you can see here, this is a little technique that we're using to hold the cord inside the soap mix, just so that it stays still and that it stays in the middle of the soap mix. So we've used a little popsicle stick and a clothing peg to just hold it securely for the first layer, and then we put it in the fridge. You can also set it aside. So now that that layer's set, we're putting our next layer on top. We've made this video speed up pretty fast, so yeah, I'll just let you know when we're up to a new layer. Cool, so as you can see, that layer has set now. And you can always correct the position of the twine, as you can see how we're doing there. You can move it a little bit, bend it down, and then put another layer on top. Cool, and our little boats have set now. We've taken them out of the fridge. We like to put our melt and pour in the fridge as we think that it sets a little bit faster. GeoGuard makes it set super fast, so you don't really need to keep it in the fridge. It kind of just depends on how much time you've got. But please make sure that in between layers, so when you've put down your first blue layer or whatever layer you're on to, make sure that it sets fully before you spray rubbing alcohol and add the next layer, because that will keep the colors completely separate. Another point is you have to make sure to always add your rubbing alcohol, so spray that in between the layers, because otherwise they won't stick together and they will just peel apart, which has happened to us many times and is something that you definitely don't want to encounter when you've spent a long time working on a really beautiful soap. Cool, so as you can see, we're spraying the layers with rubbing alcohol and then pouring the next mix of melt and pour on top. And then the reason we spray alcohol on top of our layers of melt and pour that we've just poured is because of the little bubbles. So you spray the rubbing alcohol and it'll pop all the surface bubbles and you'll be left with a really smooth finish on top. The most important points, I think, for any melt and pour process is to make sure you don't overheat your melt and pour base and to always make sure that you use enough rubbing alcohol. Cool, so our soap project is almost finished. As you can see, it looks so lovely out of the soap. This is a pretty big soap batch that we've made. So each soap weighs about 360 grams. So it's, you know, it's pretty big for a melt and pour soap project, but it will last a long time in the shower and it looks really beautiful. Because we've added the GeoGuard preservative in there, the soap will last a long time. But if you have decided to opt out of the preservative, make sure that you wrap up your soap as soon as it's finished, and that will keep it fresher longer. Cool, so to add this little embed, I guess you could call it, this little boat, we spray rubbing alcohol to both surfaces and then just rub a little bit of melt and pour base of the same color of the boat. And then, yeah, stick them together. You have to hold it for a little bit just while it sets, but it sets really, really quickly. And if it doesn't stick on straight away, just add a little bit more melt and pour base and it will be there pretty securely. Awesome, so we've come to the end of the project now, and as you can see, it's a really cute project. It's quite unique as well, and I think it makes a really beautiful gift to anyone, and everybody loves, you know, a nice sea decoration for a bathroom, so this is definitely a good one for that. Make sure that you wrap up your soap with cling film or shrink wrap just to keep it nice and fresh. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Manuela and we upload videos with my mom weekly in Spanish and in English. Please let us know what you think in the comments. Give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and we hope that we bring a lot of tips and tricks that help you on your soap journey. Thank you so much for your time. See you later. Bye.